Okay, lesson plan 11. Today we're going to be doing a French onion soup. We're going to be making barbecued beef ribs, but we're going to be making our own barbecue sauce. So of course, for starters, we're going to go ahead and wash our hands with soap and water. All right, now that our hands are perfectly dried, we're going to go ahead and get started on our French onion soup. So we have our pan here, and right now we have it on a high heat. We're going to go ahead and we're going to melt down our clarified butter. And for the amount of onions that we've got, that should be enough. So I'm going to go ahead and take out the rest of that. Put that back in my container. Good thing about clarified butter is that it has a higher smoke point than regular whole butter. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to let that just come up to a little bit of a higher temperature. And now that our clarified butter has come up to a nice temperature, we're going to go ahead and we're going to add our onions, and we want to caramelize these. While we have our onions caramelizing, we're going to shoot on over to the second pot that we have. And we're going to go ahead and we're going to make our barbecue sauce for our ribs. So, the base of our barbecue sauce is ketchup. So we're going to add 2/3 of a cup of ketchup. We're going to add a 1/4 cup of dark brown sugar. We're adding a 1/4 cup of our cider vinegar. 2 tablespoons of our smoked paprika. A teaspoon of ground cumin. A tablespoon of our freshly cracked black pepper, a teaspoon of our salt. We're going to give that a good mix. And we're going to put this on medium heat. We want this to come up to a boil, and then we'll bring it down to a simmer. We're going to come back here and take a look at our onions. And we'll be back when our onions are fully caramelized and when our barbecue sauce has fully reduced. All right, so our onions are nice and beautifully caramelized. We've got a nice brown color on here. They've reduced in size significantly. So what we're going to go ahead and do is we're going to go ahead and we're going to slowly deglaze the pan. And we want to keep doing this until we get all of the fond off the bottom of the pan. And we want to see these onions turn a very nice dark brown color. Alright. We've deglazed twice now. And these onions have a very dark translucent color. Make it maybe one last time. All right. All right, so we're going to add the remaining beef stock and chicken stock and the thyme. I'll put a pinch of thyme in there. So we're going to bring this up to a simmer. Give a good little stir. And we're going to bring this up to a simmer for about 20 minutes. We can let So our French onion soup has reduced significantly. This is looking amazing. So what we're going to do now is we're going to shift the camera over here so you can watch the plating. And you'll see that I have my oven safe bowl. And I'm going to grab, I've taken the soup off the heat. And grab the bowl here. Make sure I get a good amount of those onions because that's the body of the soup, right? Perfect amount of soup. And then we're supposed to be using French bread, but I, for one, don't have French bread, so I'm going to use this multigrain bread that I have here. I'm going to put that right there on top of the French bread with some Swiss or Gruyere, neither of which I have, but I do have shredded Colby and Monterey Jack. So I'm going to put me a hefty amount of that on top there. All right. Get all in the corners. And we're going to bring this and put this in our little oven for broiling. Okay. I'm going to set this to broil. I'm going to set that to broil. I'm going to make sure this is center so it doesn't burn. And let that broil for about 10 minutes. And we'll be back. All right, ladies and gentlemen, our French onion soup is done. We have a nice bubbly crusty cheese on top. Remember, this is typically done with Swiss and Gruyere cheese, but we didn't have that available. Okay, so we're going to start our barbecue ribs. First thing I did was I put them in a pot of boiling water, and I'm going to let these cook in here for about 20 minutes. This is just going to help the protein get a little bit more tender. So after we finish baking it for a couple hours, it can just fall off the bone and you're not really fighting with the meat. So we will be back in about 20 minutes when we're getting ready to transfer it into a pan and put our barbecue sauce on it. So we'll see you then. All right, so 20 minutes have gone by and our beef ribs have been boiling in this salted water. Again, we just do this so that, camera got a little foggy. We do this so that the meat can be tender when it comes out of the oven. Just kind of makes the cooking process a little bit less tedious. So we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna transfer our ribs into this pan. See, right now it's really tough, but that's just because it hasn't fully cooked. But again, we're going to transfer it from this pan to the oven pan. So that way we can put our barbecue sauce on it and then put it in the oven. Okay, so we're just going to take our barbecue sauce. I'm actually just going to do like a little pour and spread with the back of the spoon. And we're going to put this in the oven uncovered, mostly because I want this sauce to get like really sticky on the these aren't wings, on the ribs. A little bit over there. Over there. Okay. And just for the sake of being thorough, let's get some on the bones too. I'm a Caribbean. We like to suck on the bones of things. I don't know. I think it's a cultural thing, but it doesn't hurt for bones to have extra flavor too. All right. We're going to go ahead and we're going to pop this in the oven. And we're going to actually put that on the bottom rung. And we're going to let that cook for about 2 hours, and then we're going to check on it to see how everything is looking and then come back and give it an extra half an hour if necessary. Those look really good. Awesome, and our ribs are finally done. These look absolutely amazing. They've been cooked actually to an internal temperature of about 195-ish. I did my check and it was a little bit over, but they come right off the bone. So that means that it's been cooked properly. And yeah. So I came back a little bit later. These are really good. And they're very tender. And that barbecue sauce has a really nice acid-sweet balance. Pretty good.